Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. I am running a test. I want to see how it sounds. We are streaming live. Today is Friday, Green Friday, the second Friday of the month. I'm doing a mic check so I can make certain that you guys can hear me so we don't do this whole interview and you guys can't even hear me. So let's go to YouTube and make sure you guys can hear what I'm saying. So give me a few seconds to get everything queued up. We have a super special guest that I'm honored to have join us today. Okay, here we go. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Okay, it's not showing up. That is a problem. Let's go here to the library and see. There it is right there. Now let's see if we can hear this or not. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. I don't hear anything, so that is not good. It's not showing up. Okay, there we go. We can hear. Let's go here to the library and see. There it is right there. Now let's see if we can hear this. All right, I am now posting this on Facebook and YouTube. So before we get our guest on, I'm going to. Okay, let me pause this here. Perfect. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Please listen in to all our people. Please listen in to our Burkina Faso guests. All right. All right, everyone. I'm your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Green Friday. It is the second Friday of the month. I'm going to be joined by a super guest that I am excited about and was really honored that he took my request to let me just talk to him about his experience moving from this country over to Burkina Faso. So before he gets on here and before we start that conversation, let me make sure that our people know who we are, what we do. National Block Club University. I'm the founder. We in the spirit started November 20th, 1994. So this November 20th will make 31 years of block by block organizing. And we have 20 Chicago zip codes linked to 20 African countries. The west side zip codes of Chicago linked to the western part of Africa. The east side zip codes of Chicago linked to the eastern part of Africa. This is going to put us in a position as people, as Black people, to globally move in coordination. So when you hear from our guest today, you're going to be getting insight on how we can support our efforts of President Ibrahim Traore and his people with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. We do have a connection with Mali through Sister Aishola, but this brother here is from a certain place here. I don't want to say, I'm going to let him say, and we're going to be able to support him, and then supporting him be supporting the continent and where the country and what our brothers doing there in Burkina Faso. So let's get ready for that. I don't know why I took my video down. Let's go back with that. So as we wait for him to rejoin us, I'm going to go through those zip codes so you can see the link. We'll start with this flag right behind me here. Today and every second Friday of the month is Kenya. Kenya is on the eastern part of the continent, and it's in the southern part as well. I spent the only country in Africa I spent time in Kenya. I was in Mombasa in 1994, and so that was the only country I've been able to visit and put boots on the ground in. And I can't wait to get back. It's been 31 years since then, and so I'm looking forward to getting back. When I see our Black people, Black Americans in Africa, it just does my spirit well because I know what that felt like to me back in 1994. So I just love it when I see us. So y'all keep going back to the continent, all up and down the continent. Please be humble. Please be humble. Please know the trauma that we've been through that runs through our blood and our DNA so that we don't take the colonizer's spirit and mentality to the continent. So please be mindful of that. I do not subscribe or drink the Kool-Aid that the Africans don't want us there. I believe you're gonna have with anything in life people that's pro and con to anything. So you just got to be balanced, be positive, be constructive, be productive. And if you do that, things we're gonna line up the way it's supposed to. So I just want to put that in your spirit because I know some of us we go places and we say we're invading or we taking over. Chicago taking over Detroit, Chicago taking over LA. Let's not come with that colonizer spirit. Let's check ourselves, look in the mirror, and don't bring that mentality where we go. Like, let's not make that a thing that we coming to invade or take over someone's jurisdiction. And just deposit that in your spirit because there's a lot for us to be able to coordinate together. So let's rock and roll that way. That's just knocked me off. All right, let's see here. Someone knocked me off. Let me put do not disturb up here. I want to make sure I'm still going here. Okay, just knocked me off. All right, let's see here. Someone knocked me off. Let me put do not disturb up here. I want to make sure I'm. Okay, I think that's good. All right, all right. How you doing, sir?
Let me see if I can cut on my video.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oh, there you go.
Let me salute you, my brother. Let me salute you to start off, man. How you holding up, man?
Hey, there's a famous African revolutionary by the name of Emil Cabral. He said, tell no lies, claim no easy victories, and keep nothing from the masses of our people. So there you have it.
Man, let me say, man, thank you first and foremost for carving out the time in your life, man, to give us this treat. This is a treat. Your boots on the ground in a place that got Black Americans excited. And so this is going to be on YouTube so people can watch it, share it. And we want to get you past them 5,000 followers. We want people to send you support so that way you can just take what you're doing and just blow it up over there even more. So if you don't mind, man, introduce yourself, your name, where you're from in America, and what you're doing over there.
Yeah, my name is Jahi Issa. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Um, for the last 20 years, I taught on the university level all over the U.S. My doctoral degree is in history from Howard University in D.C., where I taught American history and African history, African diaspora history, ancient African history, and the slave trade. And so, my last job as of May of this year was at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. And that's what I've done for the last 2 decades or so, be an educator. I taught people who came to colleges. All of my jobs were at Black colleges too. And so
That's right.
all of my degrees are from Black colleges. My bachelor's degree
That's
is. I started off at Southern on a football scholarship, but transferred to Texas Southern. Went back to Southern, got my master's, then went to Howard to doctoral. Then I taught at my first job outside of teaching at Howard was at um, Elizabeth City State University in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. And then I taught at Delaware State University. And then I taught at Medgar Evers College for 7 years. And
so you came across Black students in all of those arenas, right?
all the colleges that I taught with black colleges.
What was your experience with our students, the next generation? Were you hopeful with what you saw with how serious they was taking education?
Well, it's a little deeper than that because education now has been basically basically corporatized on the collegiate level, where the corporations dominate the curriculum. They have a lot to say quietly and privately about what is being said in the classroom. And that's mostly because the oligarchs or the elite of the societies, they don't really want an educated black populace. And so that's been a very serious issue. So, like, I'll give you a prime example. Many of the black colleges in the United States, including the ones that I taught at, um, African American professors were the minority.
Right.
Yeah, and that happened over time. It's the same with secondary school, primary and secondary, where the removal of African American teachers has become a very serious issue too. And
Yeah.
so kids are only getting what the elite are giving them. They're not getting a thorough education. And
Right.
I tried my best as a
That's what I was gonna say.
professor.
I know you did, right? You went over and beyond to penetrate that.
Oh man, because tradition I come out of ideologically, I'm a Pan-Africanist Black nationalist. I'm unashamed about that. I just don't talk about it. I live that.
Right.
And by the mere fact that I just got up out of there, it was really, I was forced, but I was back and forth to Africa. I made over 60 something trips on my own. So I
60, 60?
it may be more than that. I don't even know. I stopped counting at 60. So that was just 7 years ago. But
Hey.
what I'm saying is that I had actually moved during the pandemic. Our teaching job was online because of the pandemic, and I moved to Ghana. I had been to Ghana like 40 or 50 times, and my two oldest children were born in Ghana. And then
Mm.
I left Ghana and went to the Gambia and stayed there for a year and a half and traveled throughout the Senegambia area, Senegal and the Gambia. And so
Mm-hmm.
so I had already moved and then came back again in 2023 to try to raise some funding. End up getting active again and very active, politically active, and I caught the eyes of the ruling European elite. They didn't like it, so they came after me. And so in June
Yeah.
of this year, I made a break. I said, I don't
Yeah.
want to be part of all of this evil and this change that's coming about. And
Yeah.
came to Burkina Faso where they gave me temporary political asylum.
Wait, let's do this first, if you don't mind, Doctor. So you from St. Louis,
Uh,
STL.
my name is Jahi Issa. I changed it, but I was born Terrence Lee, and my family, or the fingers, Weaver, King, and Rouse. And my cousins, they were kind of famous in St. Louis. They were like twin boxers, Lavelle and Terrell Fingers. And those are my first cousins, my mother's side. And yeah, we're Weavers. So yes, I'm born and raised in St. Louis. My family on my mother's side migrated from Arkansas, Palestine, Arkansas, and on my
Mm.
father's side they from Mississippi and Kentucky.
But where in Mississippi? I'm making a note of that.
Oh man, from the Delta, man, it's all the same, man. They brought all of us on them trips.
Mount Bayou. You got Mount Bayou. He touched
All of
down there.
that. Oh yeah, family from there too. That's just our part of our sojourn as an African people. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a period of our history where we are have where we have yet to climb out of,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So And this is why I made a candid decision to come to Burkina,
Mm.
where at least they are talking and trying to be about the life of building an African nation without any help, without European and Asian help. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's something. I'm in Gary, Indiana, because in Chicago I ran for mayor, and the Democrats got on me so much they were sending building inspectors finding me for stuff my neighbor was far worse than me. So I was like, you know what, I'm up out of here. You know what I mean? I went to a Republican state, Indiana, so I'm shielded a little bit. So when you say you left the country, I'll be joining at some point with you, man. So kudos to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here's the beauty of what we do. We got 20 zip codes in Chicago linked to 20 different cities and 20 countries in Africa. And so St. Louis in particular is linked to Chicago's Austin neighborhood, and then they're linked to Ivory Coast. And so Burkina Faso, everyone is excited about Burkina Faso. So we got them linked to North Austin. And so literally our people in North Austin, they're gonna be the main ones helping us to support financially. I got your cash app. So we're gonna make certain that we're sending in. We operate on the concept of $1 a month. So it's 46 million of us. We should see $46 million a month. That's the dream pie in the sky. But as we moving in groups of 1,000, imagine 1,000 people sending you that dollar, no sweat off their brow. But look at what we're doing. We're having impact on the ground with a country that's showing us that yes, we can. So I just wanted you to know that's what
Yes, sir.
we every single day working toward.
Well, any help would any financial help would do because I don't have work over here. Just had a little money saved up.
Mm-hmm.
Being here for 4 months is not unlike going to Ghana or the Gambia, which a lot of people like going from our people from America because it's an English. These are English speaking countries. In the in Burkina Faso is French, and so it's just a learning curve. That you have to that language barrier. You have to get over that, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. So I'm now starting to get around and learn the city. Been a few places outside of the city. So yes, they are really struggling here, struggling to bring
Mm-hmm.
dignity to our
Right.
people globally. And that
So is it
takes,
what you see? Is it what we see on TV? Like, give us the behind the scenes. Is it what are you really seeing on the ground in the continent, in the country?
well, 80% of the stuff you're seeing on social media is false. It ain't no streets paved with gold and all like that, it's a nation in development. Let me put it like this. Burkina Faso has only had 7 years of independence. That's it. Now, it has officially been independent for much longer than that. I'm going to let your listening audience do the research on that. Just Google the history of the Upper Volta of Burkina Faso, and you'll find out when it got its independence. But the reality is that the French stronghold on this region and many of the other places in Africa has been very heavy-handed
Right.
with little development. So when Thomas Sankara became president in 1983, he was the first through a military takeover, coup d'etat. He was the first to really implement a people's program, a people's program where the people are benefiting from their means of production. He
Right.
tried, and they instilled that. And from 83 to 87, he was assassinated by his best friend, his childhood best friend that his family raised, assassinated him because the
Yeah.
West wanted him dead because of what he was doing and the impact that he was having on the African world.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Thomas Sankara. So that's 4 years. And after that assassination, they went
Right.
backwards again. The French
Yeah.
had control; they had their leader in, and until President Ibrahim Traore came, that was 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
you're looking at 7 years of independence. That's
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
you can just imagine it's a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work to be done. But, if you about that life and you really about building something for your
Right.
people, because to have a state is the highest example of God. To have an
Hmm.
organized government, that is the
Yeah.
highest example of God, because that is the highest example of humanity. To be
Yeah.
organized.
Responsibility. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's responsibility, it's protection, it's military, it's social service, it's all of that. And we as Black people in the United States, we don't know that because we've
Hmm.
never had that. All we've had is the victims we've been the victim of a
Yep.
government. And we
Yep.
built this government. And I don't care, I got a PhD in American history. So, I mean, and I don't even get into debates with people anymore. We we built we make this argument, we built it. Yeah, we built it because our ancestors were conquered in war. They
Right.
defeated us and they brought us over. Tens of millions of us were brought over, and they
Right.
held us in these open air prison labor industrial camps. They were open
Yeah.
air prison labor, or we call them plantations, but they were really open air prison
Prison.
camps. That's what they were.
Yep.
And they held us there, and it was a totalitarian dictatorship, meaning that they
Yep.
had full control over our ancestors,
Everything.
everything,
Yep.
everything, how we produced, everything. And they kept bringing a lot of us in because the life expectancy on those plantations were less than 7 to 8 years, and um, it was always been a dismal existence for 95% of us in the
Yeah.
US. We built it, yeah, we built it, but we didn't build it for us and we don't control
Right.
none of that.
Right. Yeah.
And anybody start
Right.
pretending like we got power in the United States, no. And so the best thing we could do in our history was to, of course, the thing that makes the most sense is to want to go back to Africa. Who wouldn't want to do that? If you take millions of people away from their natural habitat, and of course they're going to want to go back. I don't care what color you are. They're going to want to return back to where they remember
Home.
it was
Yeah.
peaceful, right? And so,
Exactly.
but then
Yeah.
they refused to allow that. So the American Civil War came about, right? And we are the ones that won the Civil War. The Africans did, the blacks, because the Union troops were exhausted. The Confederates were destroying them. They thought it was going to be a quick war. It wasn't. And so African troops came in, won the war within months, a few months. And a
Hmm.
part of the deal was, if we help win the war, let us return back to Africa, right?
Mm.
And that just never happened. It
Yeah.
never
What
happened.
about
So,
Liberia?
doing
Because they did put some of us in Liberia, right?
well, Liberia, that's another episode of history that we have to revisit and understand with proper historical clarity. Liberia came about really as a result of an act called the Act of 1808, the Slave Importation Act of 1808, which is probably the most important historical law that nobody knows anything about. You can Google it. They started watering down that on the internet. With Wikipedia, it's watered down, but it's still good for basic information. Just Google the Slave Importation Act of 1808 and you'll see that
1808.
that's when the most of us came. And most of us in the United States came between 1808 and the American Civil War. I estimate close to 20 million. Um, they've been
Really?
covering that up. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. They've been covering that up. I've written several pieces of articles on that particular subject. And so most of us came over during that period. And like I said, if you listen carefully to what I said that the life expectancy on those plantations was 7 to 8 years. So you have to
Right.
constantly replenish the labor. Although they've
Right.
lied, a lot of the historical records are just lied to cover up the fact that they were
Yeah.
bringing us into the country during a period where they were not supposed to bring us in
Right.
according to American law. So they had to
Right.
lie and say that the reason why we had so many numbers, we were breeding like jackrabbits because we were being bred on these plantations, and that is not necessarily the truth, right? The
That's
reality
deep.
is they were bringing us over during a period where they passed many laws saying that they would
They
not
would.
bring
Right.
us. And that's a whole nother subject. And I'm working
Yeah.
on a project right now that I have ready in a week where maybe I can come back and share with you that important because that is really the only way you can get reparations. You can't get reparations for what was legal. American slavery under the American law was legal under American law. It was legal under American law. I'm not talking about the period that the British had it. So we confuse that too. So we come in and we'll say, we've been here for 400 years, so they owe us for 400 years. No, who owes us? No, there was no United States in 1619. That was a British colony,
Right.
right? And then when the United States fought a Revolutionary War for independence, and they got their independence in 1789, right?
Mm.
We come under that. Most of us Africans in the United States, we came in under the United States, not under the British. And we don't know
Okay.
this history because they
Now
don't
that's deep.
teach it. I was the
Yeah.
only one teaching this for a long time in the United States. And I would get harassed by uh,
Oh yeah.
other faculty members at
Oh
every
yeah.
university that I taught at. They didn't
Oh
want
yeah. They
me
hate to see
teaching.
you coming. they they probably hate to see you coming. Like, oh, here we go.
Oh yeah,
But
there we
how do
go.
people? Because I think the key, yeah, right. The key I want to make sure our people know is if they do want to come, like, are you going to set up your version of a pipeline for people that want to come and just travel and see it, that they can reach out to you? You gonna be doing tours, like for the
All of
people
that.
that's watching this, how do they,
Yeah, people should come.
connect?
But this is what I want to say this because I've traveled a lot, right, over Africa. So I want to say this. If you haven't been to Africa and you really want to go, right, and you want the same amenities that you have in the US or something similar, but being black, like black, not like South African black, because a lot of parts in South Africa that are not black, you know. Uh, but I tell people to go to Ghana, right? If you want that experience, right?
Hmm.
But it's a nation in progress. Burkina Faso is a developing nation. It's at war with terrorists, and there is an ongoing revolution. So this is not revolutionary tourism, right? This is not revolutionary tourism. This country is literally at war with
Hmm.
terrorists. President Ibrahim Traore has helped with the brave soldiers. They have conquered back 75% of their country. Right? It was
Well,
most
it's good where you're at. I mean, you're there now. Look at the
no,
backdrop. It looks modern.
no. Well, I'm in a hotel right now. But what I'm saying is 25% of the country is still controlled by terrorists. And
Mm.
but that we believe that that's going to be a thing of the past soon in the next year. Hopefully, that'll be all over with. It was one point, it was 50% of the country. All right. So within 3 years, this president has come in, reorganized the military, sought international allies from the Turkish, from the Russians, from the Chinese, from the North Koreans, got the weaponry they need to fight the terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want you to be clear. People think they're coming to Wakanda, you know, and I'm like, it has that potential,
Right.
and you can
Right.
come and
Right. Right.
help make it. But if you're not
Hmm.
used to nation building,
Right.
real nation building, this ain't the place for you. But if you want to come and participate in nation building and where you can say, Dad, I helped to do this, and look at it 10 years down the line and say, why? My kids can one day run for this, or one day can be ahead of this. They can dream that without fears of that they may find themselves hanging from a tree,
Right. Yeah.
poisoned, and they
Yeah.
call it brain aneurysms, like they did to our man Kevin Samuels, right? And so this is the place. And for an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, oh my God,
Right.
this is entrepreneur's dream right here. So there's a lot of work to be done. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just giving you the real facts.
Right.
Yes,
Keeping it
it's
real.
safe.
That's right.
Ouagadougou is safe. The security here is tight. It
Okay.
is, but we also got to understand that this government here is buying everything with gold, right? And a lot of countries want that gold, and they don't want to have to pay the fair market value for that gold because they've been getting it for free for
That's right.
400 years, right? So it's a lot of stuff going on, uh, uh,
Yeah.
uh, a lot of stuff. So you got to be mindful of that. And so if you come
What
in with,
about the schools, Doc? What about the schools?
oh man, I've been to the university. The universities, the only university I've been to thus far is the University of Ouagadougou. It's a beautiful modern school. It's just like any modern school in the United States.
Okay. Okay. What about the elementary and high school?
I haven't had a chance to go into any of those yet, but soon
Okay.
come, soon come. Now that you bring
Okay.
that, soon come.
Yeah.
I need to
Well,
go.
that's what people here going to want to know and see as they come out there. And I know I got to get you off of here, but I wanted to make sure, and all my people, you guys, he's really there on the ground. So we want to make sure today we get that over there to him, bless him, and we go stay connected, y'all. Every week, let's try to make sure we stay connected. And then once a month, I can just interview you and we can talk about how it's going. I love that if you can carve out time.
All right, yeah, that's no problem, my brother. No problem whatsoever. No
Excellent,
problem.
excellent. Anything that I didn't ask that you want to put out there about your experience
Uh,
there?
yeah, well, one thing you said, what about the youth? Another thing President Traore has done, and he has basically nationalized all the high schools children to for military service once they get out of high school. So they're getting trained in high school, right? Which
Like
I think is
ROTC.
beautiful.
So, yeah.
Yeah, ROTC.
Hmm.
That's what it is, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do. Where they are looking at, they're starting to understand what they have is good, and that
Yeah.
can do what the West has done and what China has done. And so all of
Hmm.
that is in this development. And so it takes time, but I know a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people interested in coming. There's supposed to be a big
Yeah.
conference at the end of this month. And a big Dr. Arikana is coming with about 1,000 or so people. And so
Mhm.
we pray that it all goes well with that, and and people come and get excited about being a part of a revolutionary country.
Man, I appreciate it, Dr. Jai. It's a pleasure interviewing you, man. And like I say,
All
we
right.
go get that cash app to you.
All right. All
Well,
right. Appreciate it, brother. Anytime.
all
Hit
right,
me up.
be safe.